I'm Leslie Thompson at the 2009 annual meeting of the American Society for Aesthetic Plastic Surgery, and I'm joined by Dr. Paul Lorenc, who is a board-certified plastic surgeon with more than 20 years of experience, and you have a practice on Park Avenue in New York City.
Yes, I do.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
My pleasure.
Dr. Lorenc, I know that you are an expert really in facial surgery, and you've been presenting on a number of different topics in this arena. Talk to me a little bit about new developments, new technologies with regard to fillers and neurotoxins.
Well, as you know, less invasive or non-invasive facial rejuvenation has totally taken off in the last few years, and especially when it comes to fillers and neuromodulators, as we refer to them now. And specifically fillers, they're longer lasting, there's less downtime, and new filler Evolence, for instance, which is a collagen product that's cross-linked with a sugar. So it's a very natural product, lasts for a year or more, very easy to apply, no downtime. Patients leave the office, go back to their office, full activity. As far as neuromodulators, there's a brand new botulinum that was just approved by the FDA in the States on April 30th of this year. It's called Dysport. It will be distributed by Medicis. We're very excited about it because this is the first time in many, many years that there's a choice for the patient as far as a neurotoxin.
So how does Dysport differ from Botox?
Well, they're the same, what we call serotype, but they have different biochemical properties, so they act a little bit differently. It's different in that the onset of action, based on the clinical data that was submitted to the FDA, the onset of action is a little bit quicker. It persists for close to 4 months, and it's a very sort of soft application of an activation of the muscle, so it's a very natural look.
And in terms of the duration of the results, is that comparable to Botox?
That's, very close, yes, close to 4 months, 3 to 4 months.
Now, am I correct that there's another one currently in FDA clinical trials?
Yes, that's called PureTox, and that's manufactured by Mentor. And the FDA is looking at the approval or clearance in the next months or maybe even next year.
Oh, okay. So not quite sure on the timing of that. But it's
nobody really knows the timing. The FDA knows the timing. There are a number of proposed neuromodulators in the pipeline. Another one of them is from a company called Merz, which is called Xeomin. So again, a number of new players in the arena, which I think ultimately will make it better for the patient.
Hopefully, yes, with more competition, perhaps prices will come down a little bit.
I think so.
Obviously, though, it's critical that patients find somebody who's qualified to use those because my understanding is you don't need to be a board-certified plastic surgeon to use some of the neurotoxins. Is that correct?
That's absolutely correct.
So why should they choose someone with board certification?
Well, what's critical about an injection, whether it's a neurotoxin or a filler, is the knowledge of anatomy. And that's the key. So it's experience and the knowledge of anatomy. Because the actual injection is simple, but you have to know exactly where to inject. And that's the knowledge of someone like myself, who's a board-certified plastic surgeon, who really has an in-depth knowledge of the anatomy.
That's very interesting. Any other future trends with fillers that you see coming down the pike, maybe that are currently in clinical trials?
The fillers that are being developed, and we're talking maybe looking at 5 years down the line, a little bit longer persistency. New fillers are being already investigated that will have a numbing medicine, lidocaine, incorporated into the filler. And there's already one filler in the States called Prevail Silk, which has a very, very low concentration of lidocaine in it, and that's also manufactured by Mentor. Very nice filler, very soft filler, but that's the trend, that fillers will incorporate a numbing medicine into it. The persistency will be a little bit longer. And also, as more fillers are developed, we can be more specific in where we use a particular filler. For instance, Sculptra, which is a wonderful, wonderful volumizing agent. It's applied in a very different way than, let's say, Evolence or Restylane, and which really is to my point that I made earlier, that the knowledge of anatomy is so critical in using these new fillers or new neuromodulators.
Excellent. Well, Dr. Lorenc, that is fantastic insight. Thank you so much for sharing with us today.
My pleasure.
And thank you for joining us. I'm Leslie Thompson for the Plastic Surgery Channel.